right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Novelist. Let's see. The music feels a little bit different this time, I think. Maybe that we are about done with the game, but let's see. Brief recap of the last couple of days. 7. When Linda and Tommy wanted to go on a weekend trip, Dan decided to take Tommy to an amusement park called Booster Bay, but also promised that they would go camping as soon as things settled down. 8. When Linda's grandmother's funeral was the same day as Dan's book signing and a trip they'd planned with Tommy, Dan skipped the book signing to go to the funeral with Linda, but also sent a chapter to Paul for Bracket's quarterly preview. And 9. When the summer came to an end, Dan faced a difficult decision. So, this looks like it might be a big, deciding point for the game. Let's see what happens. The road ahead. The summer came to an end, and Dan faced a difficult... Okay, let's see what we have here in the living room. We have...
Barb, by the time you get this, we'll be on our way home, so don't write me back here. It's hard to believe this summer's almost over. So much has happened. The show, getting used to life up here, painting more than I have in years, losing Grandma Jo, figuring out where Dan and I are. Part of me doesn't want to leave, but I know it's time. They say you can't go home again. I think I know what that means now. I don't have it in me to explain everything here, but things will never be the same. I don't even know what home I'm going back to. The only thing I do know is that I'm ready to start painting again. For real, like I did before Tommy. I'm scared and excited and nervous all at the same time. I just wish I knew how we were going to make it work. I hope this finds you well. Yours, Linda.
Okay, well, so Linda at least seems to be finding her way forward regarding there we go. Where her painting, she wants to keep painting, so that's good. Seems like she's still kind of unsure where she and Dan stand. Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan, after additional consideration, I'd like to augment my recommendation. I believe that the best course of action for Tommy's development will be continued tutoring throughout the school year. It will be important to coordinate with his teachers and make sure the lessons are aligned. As before, encouragement from both of you is a critical component. Mr. Kaplan, I have observed that Tommy looks to you in particular for validation, which I believe comes from a connection he's made with your profession. If at all possible, you should be a part of his tutoring, although Mrs. Kaplan is more than capable of aiding him as well. I hope I haven't overstepped my bounds by contacting you, but Tommy is a bright boy, and I think with the proper support he can not only catch up, but excel. I understand you'll be leaving town shortly, but please don't hesitate to contact me by phone during the school year if I can be of help. Dr. Donald Samuels. Okay. So, Tommy's got a ways to go, but he seems to be doing alright. Oh man, that light's off. Okay. Alright. So I think that does it for living room clues. Oh, what's this? It's Tommy at school, I guess, with a couple of other students. That's the second Tommy clue. Dinner this week. Sunday, lentil soup, too hot for something heavier. Monday, stir-fry steak and broccoli with rice. Tuesday, hot dogs, mac and cheese. Wednesday, beef stroganoff, buttered noodles and carrots. Thursday, Joe's tuna casserole and salad. Aw, is that Grandma Joe? Aw, that's sweet. Friday, baked tzatziki and salad. Saturday, Anne's crock-pot Italian chicken and peppers. Okay, so that's nice. I think that might have been the same set of things we read last time. Mr. Kaplan, we have reached a decision and are pleased to offer you the position of Assistant Professor of Literature. We had many applicants for the position, and after careful review we feel your history with the university and your status as a published author will give you a unique connection to our students. We apologize for the lateness of the decision, but administrative adjustments delayed our annual budget review and the position was only recently approved for hire. Professor Strode will handle your course load until September 21st, at which point you will take over classes. We will provide temporary housing for you during this speedy transition, but need your answer as soon as possible. Your offer letter is enclosed. Please sign and return it at your earliest convenience. Thomas Castle, Literature Department Chair, Hardesty University. Wow, okay, so this is a big revelation because I didn't even know that Dan had even applied to be a assistant professor at a university. That's really impressive. And the thing I kind of like about that, I mean, so I've never been an assistant professor and I've never been a novelist, so I can't really perfectly relate to either of those positions, but I do work for a university, and so I guess I know a little bit about academia. I have a master's degree, so, you know, a little bit of academia. I get the feeling that being an assistant professor of literature might be a bit more of a stable sort of source of income than being a novelist. It might be the safest way forward for him and his family, especially since Linda is also going to be doing something that seems kind of risky, like her painting. I don't know that that's a thing that can be like a steady churn that produces an expected, you know, kind of predictable income. So, I mean, it might be nice to have that position rather than be a novelist, although it would be really nice to finish this book that he's already working on. So I hope he doesn't have to choose between the two. Because what I'd really like is to see him accept this and finish the book. I mean, that might be really hard. It might mean he has to work extremely hard, starting to get, you know, his work going as an assistant professor, and also having to work on finishing the book. And it's been a strain on him finishing the book already. But I don't know. Maybe there's a way he can work that out. Or maybe he can just delay the book and not worry about getting advances for future books because, hey, he'll be a professor. So, I don't know, or assistant professor. So, I don't know. That seems very interesting. I like that he's gotten accepted. That's a good thing. I mean, it may make him feel conflicted, but I think it's a very good thing that it happened. Okay, so that's Tommy, and I can hear Dan upstairs. Oh, I wish I didn't have to risk this. Okay, because I don't know where Linda is. Linda, I'm pleased to meet you. Well, by letter anyway. I'm surprised we've never met, considering how small the art community is, but from your letter it sounds like you may not have been as active as you'd liked for a few years. Regardless, I'm very excited to tell you more about our work here. At a high level, the program is simple. We're a collective of artists who use our work for the betterment of our city. We host fundraiser galleries, donate our work to charity auctions, and teach art classes. We offer both paid and unpaid courses, and all proceeds from the paid courses go to local charities, usually the food bank. Our free courses are part of a pioneer program we've recently started where we provide a safe place for victims of violence, members of our local AA chapter, and even parolees trying to get back on their feet. The program is still in its early stages, but we've been very pleased with the results. It's a very exciting time. Anyway, you'll find more details in the enclosed information packet. I'd love to talk to you about joining in person when you return to Laurenton. Rachel Pittman, founder, Art for All. So this is interesting because, I mean, it seems like a wonderful, maybe emotionally and personally rewarding place for Linda to do her art. At the same time, given how charity focused it is, it doesn't seem like she'd be making a lot of money there. It seems like it almost seems like it's entirely volunteer work. Like, even when they do stuff that gets them paid, they spend the money on charity rather than, making a living. So if Linda wants to go this route, it's even more important that Dan has something solid and predictable when it comes to income. That's my thought anyway. I mean, I'm sure Linda would love to be able to... shoot. I hate that I can't use that lamp. because I can't... It's so risky to pop out here. There we go. Alright. There's Dan. I'm just gonna sneak... Oh boy, they're both in there. I'm gonna see... Maybe I can get Linda out of there. Okay. Whew, that was close. But I'm good now.
I just talked things over with Dan, and we really have some serious thinking to do. The job at Hardesty sounds like a great opportunity for him, but moving would be so hard on us. I really want to join Art for All, and after everything we've been through with Tommy, it would be better for him to have some stability. I could even go full-time if Dan found a steady job, though I know he can't do that if he takes on extra tutoring with Tommy, and I'd never fault him for that. If we stay in Laurenton and Dan works with Tommy, I could still do the program part-time. Either way, it'd be better for Tommy and me than moving. But I know that professorship would mean so much to Dan. Can't everything be simple just once?
No, no, everything can't be simple. Not even once, sorry. I guess that's a nice little painting of Grandma Joe there. But, yeah, I think... I mean... I don't know where Linda expects the steady income to originate if Dan doesn't take the professorship. So I mean I appreciate that, you know, neither of them, you know, she wants to avoid you know, disrupting things for herself and Tommy, and she wants to be able to stay around so she can do Art for All, but I mean But I feel like it's more important that there's at least that security, and, you know, they can find some other thing to keep them going.
This could be it. An associate professorship at Hardesty? It's entry level, sure, but everyone has to start somewhere, and it's the perfect situation for writing. The sabbatical program alone makes the job worth it, and the thought of actually working with Professor May? Wait, I guess I'd be calling him Philip now. That'll take some getting used to. But moving's a big step. I can't imagine a new school with new kids would be easy for Tommy. I know staying in Laurenton would be better for him and Linda, but they aren't handing out professorships on the corner. This isn't the kind of offer you pass up without a very good reason. But I might have 2 good reasons. Tried to sleep on it last night. What a joke. You have to be able to sleep for that to work.
Jeez. I mean, I get that it's inconvenient to move, but I just don't see what they have that is going to compare, what other options they have that are going to compare to that assistant professorship. So we've got more Dan and Tommy clues to find. Gotta be careful here. Hardesty University, care of Thomas Castle, 902 Braithwaite Lane, Blairstown, Oregon. So he's already planning on writing him something. There's one more Dan clue to find, huh? Can I just read
Paul,
that?
there were days when I thought this moment would never come. When I finish writing this, I'm going to pack everything up and drop the manuscript in the mail. My palms are sweating just thinking about letting it go.
Knees weak, arms
I
spaghetti.
had no idea how hard it would be to finish this one. It took everything I had, and it's hard to look back over the summer without laughing. To think the plan was to get away from everything and just focus on the book. But you can't get away from yourself. Life doesn't give a damn about geography. I don't know when you'll get this, or where we'll be when you do, or what you'll think. I know what I think, but objectivity left the building months ago. Some days I think this is the one. Other days I have a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach that says my career is over. All I can do is drop this in the mail and hope. Here goes.
I'm so happy for Dan. He finished his book. That's a huge thing. That, to me, that removes a lot of the dilemma about going to the university. Yeah.
Hey, Mommy, look at this.
Let's see. Okay, so that's it for Dan's clues. I just need to find Tommy's clues. He's probably... Is he still in his room? No. Good. Okay. Aw, that's him sitting on the couch or something with his dad. Okay, great.
What's up, my man?
Alright, so I need... Oh, shoo! That was close. his memories. Gotta figure out what he really wants here.
You'd make new ones, buddy.
What about my friends?
Yep. And, I mean, I know it sounds a bit cold, but honestly, that's the truth. You do make new friends when you move. And, you know, if it helps, you can stay in touch with your old friends for a little while. You can be pen pals, you can, like, put it on your calendar and write weekly or monthly emails to catch up, but eventually, you know, you get out there and you make new friends and you remember the old ones. That's just the way things go. And that's him with his dad. I mean, and I'm saying this as some... Oh, let's see here. Show my friends my new backpack at school. So, I guess that's the idea of him staying. Where is Dan? Did he go downstairs? I hear footsteps. There he is. Okay. I can go back here. But see, I'm concerned about... If I emerge from here to get behind Linda... Okay, good. They're both facing away.
I could even go full time if...
You can say it. If I got a real job.
Right. And, you know, the associate professorship is a real job, isn't it? Assistant professorship?
We just got back from the funeral. It was even harder than I expected, but it was moving to see just how many people loved Grandma Jo. She really was a special woman. Dan was there every step of the way, even though he got in a lot of trouble for missing that book signing. I don't think it's fair how mad they got at him about that. It was a funeral. But I guess that doesn't count for much in the business world.
Yeah. That's true. I'm kind of sorry to see how much trouble he got about that too. I mean, Dan was expecting, like he said before, like, oh, Paul will understand, but then there's this other person, I forget, Grossberg or whatever the name was. But I'm glad that Linda had that support, because she really needed that. And I feel like that's going to be helpful with her, you know, kind of understanding Dan's position, because I want her...
Painting coming along?
Yeah, it is.
I want her to feel good about...
Huh?
Oh, shit. There we
Hey,
go.
Mommy. Hey, Pumpkin.
I want her to feel good about him making the decision that's best for his career, because I feel like that's also the decision that's best for the entire family's security. And I feel like the fact that he's been doing so much for her should help with that.
How long's the drive?
2 hours. We'd have to move.
Yep. I know that situation pretty well. I mean, I don't have a kid the way they do, but the job I got that allowed me to afford the upgrade to my computer, that was a couple of hours away from where I was living, so that necessitated...
Paul was mad, but he understood. It helped that I threw him a bone with the quarterly idea. I think it appealed to his competitive nature. He said he wasn't sure it would work, but I knew he was sandbagging. He probably took it as a personal challenge and called Brackett to pitch the idea as soon as we hung up.
Okay. So that went okay, I guess. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, it necessitated a move, and, you know, it's inconvenient, and it's difficult, and it's uncomfortable leaving behind the familiar, leaving behind one's friends, and, you know, but it's, you know, but you gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills, at least until you have enough money that you know, never need income again for the rest of your life in order to support yourself. You know, then you can do whatever you want, but until then, you gotta find a way to pay the bills. And that's just taking the mature look at it. Just drop the envelope in the mail. So playing so bad. Why didn't Daddy take me? Well, because there are other reasons why people do things besides just what you want, kiddo. And I mean, that's just how it is. He had the funeral and the book signing. Can't just Where's Linda? There she is. Send my second painting for the full-time application. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Sorry. I don't think that Art for All is really going to be... I mean, if there weren't other constraints, that would be great for her, but I don't see how they're going to support themselves when she's basically doing charity work and Dan is not the professor, the assistant professor, and whatever, so... Alright, drop the envelope in the mail. Absolutely. The envelope where he accepts the assistant professorship. I'm thankful that this is one of those times where I don't feel so conflicted about the decision. I feel pretty confident. This is... okay. Selecting the envelope means that the Kaplans will move to Blairstown. Linda won't be able to work for Art for All, and Tommy will have to start at a new school. There are no there are no compromises for this decision? That's different. That's not what I was expecting. No compromises. Hang on a second. Are there compromises that can be reached? She wants the... Let's check out her painting. Oh, jeez. Where's her painting? Second painting. One of those, maybe? Oh, she's not on her way here. Yep, there she is.
Hey, Mommy.
Hey, honey.
Jeez. Selecting the canvas means that the Kaplans will stay in Laurenton, which will also let Tommy go back to his own school. Dan will have to turn down the offer from Hardesty. There are no compromises for this decision. Jeez. And the last option was Tommy's backpack, which I guess would be in his room.
Hey, watch this. Having fun today?
Selecting the backpack means that the Kaplans will stay in Laurenton, which will also let Linda work with Art for All part-time. Dan will have to turn down the offer from Hardesty. There are no compromises for this decision. It says that, but it kind of feels like either the backpack or the painting is a compromise between Linda and Tommy. But... like I said, even though it would be nice to do something nice for both Tommy and Linda, it just feels like the best thing for the family as a whole really is the assistant professorship. It's not just for Dan, it's security for the family. I don't see how they get that otherwise. So, I'm going to go ahead and choose the envelope. Sucks that I can't make some kind of compromise with at least Tommy. But, because I know he needs that support, doing his, reading exercises and everything. Are there any more, ghosty clues here? That's the same as before. Wait. Oh, this is different. Dinner this week, Sunday stir-fry steak and broccoli with rice, Monday grilled steaks, potato salad, and corn on the cob, summer special. Tuesday, Tommy's taco night and beers for us. Wednesday, roasted chicken, new potatoes, tomato, and cucumber salad. Thursday, spaghetti and meatballs. Friday, hot dogs, mac and cheese. Saturday, beef stroganoff, butter noodles, and carrots. Well, it's a little... I think we've seen that before, but it wasn't the same that I just saw earlier. Because I remember earlier in the episode we saw the lentil soup thing, and it wasn't there just now. I was kind of hoping to get like a final clue regarding the ghost. Same friends again. I moved a couple of times growing up, and I don't think it really did anything to me. Then again, I had a hard time making friends as a child anyway, so I didn't have a lot of friends to lose. Anyway. Yeah, won't let me, there are no more clues to find, and, no compromises to make. Alright, whisper to Dan to finish the story. Here we go. Dan agonized over the decision, but in the end, he couldn't pass up the opportunity to take a professorship. A job with a steady paycheck that revolved around his craft gave him hope that writing could finally become his future, that he could devote his professional life to it and make his dreams a reality. He signed and mailed the offer letter the next morning. There you go. Tommy didn't handle the relocation well. His first year of school had been hard enough, but being a stranger on his first day of the new year, surrounded by children who already knew each other, was even harder. It took him months to adjust, and he never understood why they'd had to move and start over. That's too bad. While Linda understood why Dan had accepted the position at Hardesty, it did nothing to ease her disappointment over leaving Laurenton. Blairstown had no programs like Art for All, but she refused to give up on her painting, and she put on a successful gallery in November. Her only regret was the feeling that she'd had to do it on her own, that her husband didn't truly support her career. Jeez. I don't feel like that's fair. And that's how the Kaplans' summer in the house on the cliff came to an end. It was much more than just a single season on the coast. Dan's choices there would come to define the rest of his life. Yep. Paul was floored when he got Dan's final draft. Grovefield, that's the guy, literally stocked the presses on other books to meet demand for Dan's, and that November he won the National Book Award. His career took off, and after almost a dozen more novels, he retired as one of the most respected authors in American literature. He never forgot that summer, the summer he found his muse. That's great. And by the end of summer, Tommy was a much happier child. His self-confidence had grown, and when he went back to school, he emerged from his shell, making new friends. His teacher encouraged his love of drawing, and by high school, he developed his style enough to earn a scholarship to art school. He became an accomplished comic book artist and had a loving family of his own. Aww, that's nice. When they left the house, Dan and Linda's love was deeper than it had ever been. They spent the rest of their lives on an endless honeymoon, traveling and embracing life in a way that few couples ever do. They grew old together, always secure in a deep love that carried them through whatever life handed them. I feel so glad to know that. Dan would look back on that summer from time to time and wonder why he had made the choices he had. He never quite shook the feeling that the voice in his head had been more than just a voice, and in quiet moments he even imagined that he had been a character in someone else's novel. At times he was almost sure of it. Dedicated to my beautiful wife, Christine. Without her belief, support, and patience, this game would not exist.
A yard that's free of worthless moe in a ship on which we're all a stowing, a tattered hand in need of sewing. With every rock and every step, with every fish and every catch, I'm falling towards your safety net. Oh, grassy river, Everglades, we fail to grow a sugar cane. I never learned to show my fate to you. To you. To you.
Well, I really like that final epilogue because it showed me that even though Tommy was upset, and even though Linda didn't feel like she was really supported, that those were temporary feelings. That, because of all the support that Dan had made sure to give each of them over the course of the summer, Linda and Dan eventually grew closer than ever and remained lifelong partners through thick and thin. And Tommy, forged his craft and became a successful person with a loving family of his own. That's wonderful. It's wonderful. I feel like that worked out really, really well. And, it makes me curious to kind of know how things could have gone otherwise. And I noticed that this game doesn't make it easy on you to just undo and try something else. Like, I can click new game, but it's not like I can go back and choose something else. There weren't like discrete save files where I could just say, oh, before each decision I'm going to save, and then I go back and try it again to see how it would have been different. So, yeah. I'm actually very happy with the choices I made there. I feel like it couldn't have gone better, and I'm kind of curious to see how it could have gone poorly, like if I had only focused on Dan or only focused on Tommy or whatever, how things could have worked out in a really sour sort of way. I have that sort of morbid curiosity, but I don't really think I'm going to be playing the game again. I'm really happy with that ending. So, thank you all so much for watching up through this. I appreciate you sticking with me through this extra long finale episode. Please tell me what you thought about it and what you thought about the final decision, what you think you might have done, and how you think things might have turned out different. By all means, if you have your own playthrough or that turned out differently, be sure to link me to it. I'd be happy to watch, comment, and like and subscribe. So, anyway, let me know what you'd like to see me do in the future. I've really enjoyed presenting this for you. I'm really happy that I got this chance. And so I look forward to hearing from you and presenting you something new. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.